Okay. Hello. I should pay attention to chat over here too, I guess. Okay. So let's see. I have the Gleam compiler open. And I kind of basically for today I just want to work on like starting to see what optional arguments would require. And also how to even parse them and where all of the parser stuff and all of the code gen stuff lives in the compiler, because I'm super unfamiliar with all of it. So we need like obviously we need to update the parser to accept the new syntax, which would roughly be like, the example we've been using a lot would be add. So you'd have like some int and then some other int, but maybe you want to make this an optional one so that you can just pass a single int and it acts as like an increment function rather than adding two separate ones together. So then you can use your default as 1. And so then it returns an int. Something. And then that would be your function. And so this, like, equals 1 would be the new bit. So we've got that. And then there's also there's stuff like the code formatter needs to be able to format this. even for complicated defaults. Because this could theoretically be any expression and not just like a simple constant or something. So, you know, I'm not sure if we actually want to allow this, but theoretically you could even have this just be like a whole block and then you're doing like a bunch of stuff in here. And then like that could be your default. And maybe we don't want to allow this, but like I have a feeling that that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Because basically what I want this to compile to would be that instead of just taking an int there, oops, this would be like an option int, and then we could insert something like let b equal option dot lazy unwrap. Or well. And then we would just insert all of the stuff that you put as your default in there. Oh wait, one of those was in general. Yeah. Actually, maybe I should see what Lewis is saying. You can't see my screen. I'm bad. Oh my god, I am just full size. Ha 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 ha. I'm a real serious professional, can you tell? I even have the stream open on my iPad to the side. I definitely should have noticed that that was a thing that was going wrong, but I'm not actually paying attention. It's fine. Okay, but now y'all can see it. Is the text big enough for people? Okay. Okay. Boop. Also, why did it decide that this is Rust? VS Code, you're so weird sometimes. I'm clearly trying to do Markdown. Okay. Right. So the code formatter needs to be able to handle stuff. We're also definitely going to need to do something to doc generation. So that we can generate docs for functions that have optional and defaulting arguments, and so that you can, like, you probably want to see what the default argument is if you're going to the documentation. You're going to want to know what's happening if you don't pass an argument. I'm also not sure like how coupled some of these things are. So another thing that we might need to work on would be like the LSP, like making sure that hints are showing something that makes sense. But yeah, so the best way to start is probably just to get something parsing and then see where we can go from there. And also, VS Code is about to make my life hard. Woo! I really hate that if you create like a new untitled file like this in VS Code, that you then can't save it in a directory that contains a dot or anything. And often I'll put a .scratch directory like this in code bases I'm working in, so I have somewhere to just shove notes that aren't going to get committed. But like if I try to save this empty file, wait, what? It's actually showing it? Maybe they finally fixed that then, because this was not a thing before. That's neat. And good to know, I guess. Okay. Alright. So then, I think first I just want to figure out where tests are at and then add a test that's failing. I don't usually like starting with tests, but this actually feels like a time where that kind of makes sense. Luis, you should tell me where tests are for parsing stuff. Oh, this is probably it. Okay. What do these files look like? Source parse error.gleam. Where are those test files? Compiler core. Oh, that's for the Rust file, though. Tests? I swear there are more tests than this. Yeah, I feel about as lost as I expected to. about AST tests? Oh, this is like a bunch of okay. I'm maybe getting closer to what I'm looking for. Compile expression. Okay. Do we have any expressions in here that are like function declarations? Oh, here we go. Are there any tests? Ooh. Are there any tests in here for arguments parsing? No? Are there more function parsing tests than this? These tests are interesting. We're not really even doing anything to assert that the notes we find are actually the notes that we want. We're just checking, like, is there a thing here at all? Okay. Let's see. For integration tests that do parse, source Erlang tests and source JavaScript tests. Let's start with Erlang. Okay. I didn't expect them to be like target dependent, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Because yeah, if we're doing it as integration testing, then we can like test that parsing and code gen works all at the same time. So we'll want to add a test to functions. Function called okay. And then these are all, like, expected results are all being stored as snapshots, right? Okay. If I don't want to worry about code gen yet, I can just look at the tests for the type checking stuff. I think that actually sounds like a good idea. Okay. These tests feel relevant too because they're talking about like labeled arguments and stuff, and we've been having discussions about like how that interacts with optional arguments and stuff. And now I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to be interesting, especially because like labels don't carry over when you make functions anonymous. So the rules for that like feel a little fuzzy still. Now I'm curious what all of these macros are doing. Like assert module error, that tracks. Unlabeled after labeled, yeah. Yeah, that's invalid, so we like expect that one to be an error, but then what does infer do? Oh, does it just do some stuff to like make sure that we're inferring the right types? Okay, well, then let's say, okay, got a test. Optional defaulted argument. Assert module infer pub fn add a is an int, and I guess if we want to infer something we can even say like, rather than saying a type for B, we can say that it... Oh my gosh. I'm so bad at typing right now. I'm trying to switch to my Moolander for real this time, and it's sure going. Okay. Oh. Yeah, you really do need to like come up with custom macros when you're doing testing in Rust, because assert is good for like really simple things, but you pretty quickly outgrow it. Like I have my own little home-rolled snapshot testing thing that I use for pretty much all of my like smaller Rust projects. And I do it in like a really silly way. I know Cargo Insta is a thing that lets you do snapshot testing and is supposedly good and stuff. But I just like put everything in a test data folder, and then I have an env variable that I set to like just wholesale update all the snapshots whenever I like need to add a new test, or whenever I like change something that would break one of the old tests. And then I just like use the git diff to make sure that like the changes to the snapshots are actually something reasonable. I know that like if I run it in the mode where it updates the snapshots and then all of them get changed, I probably did something wrong, and then I can like go back, revert to the snapshots, and like figure it out. Okay. So I guess it's... Oh, that's a tuple. I was not noticing that. Okay, so this like lets us compare a vec of things with a name and a type signature and make sure that like the thing named whatever has the type signature that we expect. Oh, and CodePilot, I think that looks like the right thing. Yeah. Although, why is it unhappy about that comma there? Oh, because I'm not ending this other string properly. It needs a pound there. Cool. And then, to match the other tests, I should... Woo! So on my oh my gosh, on my keyboard layout, for giving myself arrow keys, I have a layer modifier that turns HJKL into like the Vim directions, which is really cool in theory, and I think will be a good idea long run, especially because I also still do kind of want to switch to Helix once it like is comfortable enough for me to use. But I'm still very much getting used to that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's theoretically a test that should pass once we get this working. And if I run cargo test now, this is obviously going to fail because the parser isn't going to like it. Yep. Okay, so we have one failing test now. So I think we're just gonna need to jump like right into the AST, because I imagine it works off of... Oh. I imagine it's just working off of a token stream. And we're not adding any like new tokens because the equals operator is already a thing, and then everything else is just expressions that would already exist. What is the difference between a typed and an untyped expression? Is it just like whether it has type annotations or not? And if so, I guess we will need to update both of these. And then constants are their own thing. Typed constant AST. I can't tell if these are supposed to work side by side or like if you start with untyped and then move towards typed or something. But let's see if we can figure that out. Self var. Is this like a let expression then? Source tokens. Okay, so it is a linear thing. It goes from untyped to typed. Okay, so we're, yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, so in one of our AST variants is a function that contains its own arguments, and that's just a vec of this arg type. Oh. Okay, and so we're passing it a unit so that this is untyped. It has just a name, a location, and an annotation. And so then I imagine in here we're going to have the same sort of thing. Okay. But yeah, the argument has like an actual type. Oh, interesting. That we are referencing through an arg. And that lets us share the arg type. Okay. Where was that at? Control. Ooh. Right, I remapped that key and I'm forgetting. There? There we go. Okay. Oh, so this is defined in ast.rs. Wait, what? I thought they disallowed having modules with the same name as folders. I thought they required you to do mod.rs now. Am I imagining that? Hello. Whatever. So I guess, like, basically this is also no, because in all of my projects I've been using mod.rs because I thought that was like an edition 2018 thing. But I kind of like having the file be named the actual thing instead of mod.rs more, because I think mod is just like a weird thing to call it. Now I'm curious though. Rest edition 2018. Path and module system changes. No more extern crate. Bunch of macro stuff changed. No more mod.rs. In Rust 2015, if you have a submodule, it can live in foo.rs or foo/mod.rs if it has submodules of its own. It must be foo/mod.rs. So is the compiler not using edition 2021? I am so confused. Oh! In Rust 2018, the restriction that a module with submodules must be named mod.rs is lifted. Foo.rs can just be foo.rs now, and the submodule is still foo/bar.rs. This eliminates the special name, and if you have a bunch of files open in your editor, you can clearly see their names instead of having a bunch of tabs named mod.rs. I had that so backwards in my head. I need to go change a bunch of shit. Because I hate mod.rs. I somehow got it in my head though that was what it had to be. Huh. Okay, well I'm gonna go fix some stuff later. And also that's good to know for navigating other Rust code bases, because I totally was missing this. I was totally missing this ast.rs file. Or honestly, all of these other files down here. It kind of makes me wish that VS Code didn't separate folders from files. Is that a setting? That's probably a setting, right? That's probably a setting. Oh gosh, not 1Password. Why are you doing things? Settings, but I want the UI so I can search. It's probably gonna be something about the Explorer. Da 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 da. Files with nested children are displayed before other files. Mixed. Files and folders are sorted by their names. Files are interwoven with folders. Let's try that and see how I feel about it. If I squeeze all this stuff. Yeah, because now I've got AST and AST, and it just makes those easier to see that they're related. Is my mic really loud? What does OBS say? I guess it does say it's kind of... Maybe I should turn it down a little bit. It's still yellow. How much do I need to turn it down? Okay, that seems still a lot, actually. -10? Am I that loud of a talker? That seems better. Maybe -12? Come on, let me do 12. That's so rude. And you're not gonna let me type it in. This is bullying. I can do it with keyboards, but it does it in less than 0.1 increments. Okay. And now if I try to talk loud, it's high yellow instead of going clear up into the red, which probably is a good thing. And then if I talk at a more normal volume, it's just kind of high green. That is nice. Cool. I actually maybe even want it a little bit quieter still, -15. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Cool. Okay, changed to random VS Code setting. We're doing AST stuff. So arguments are going to have another property now, which is going to be the default value, which, yeah, I think that's probably right. It's definitely going to be an option of something is oh, but okay, that's actually going to need to be generic, right? The same way that take me back to art, please. I'm pretty good. Low-key, the reason I wanted to stream this was so that Luis would come sit in chat and I could ask them questions. And also just because I actually do kind of like streaming programming and I haven't done it in a whole eternity. Yeah, so this struct has to be generic over the type so that in the untyped AST, it can be untyped and not have a type forced in. And I think that we're going to need the same thing for default value, but also we maybe kind of want a way to restrict it so that it can't just be anything. It has to be like an untyped expr or a typed expr. So what if I... Why did it just scroll to way the wrong place? Oh my god. I have too many tabs open. Let's fix this. That file is empty. I don't need that. That I kind of want to keep open. I don't need that. I don't need that. We can come back to all of this. Right, so we're working in that file. I don't care to have the tests open right now that I know where they are. Okay, so typed and untyped I want in this group. And then, oh, I don't need token either. So I want this AST and then yeah, I have typed and untyped over here. Okay, yeah, so in typed, we've got these sorts of things where we've got typed statements, and then over here, I'm sure that, where's block? There's a block variant, right? Whoa. Yeah, and it just gets unit instead. Although that's... Oh, wait, is typed statement an alias to something? Yes, it is. It's a statement with that type inserted. Oh, wait, untyped statement. And then self untyped expr. There's an alias for untyped statement though, next to this, that I feel like that should probably be using. Yeah, because this other variant uses that. Yeah, these other variants are using like aliases of things. Go for typed expr rather than typed statement. Yeah. Oh yeah, I changed that from a statement to a statement. Okay. Yeah, I agree that we probably just want it to be Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I feel like having it be a constant would be too restrictive. Although I guess this is one of those cases where like we could always open it up more later. But I really like the idea of it being able to just be like an arbitrary expression, and then if you write something that's like shitty and complicated and hard to read, then that's your fault. But let's see. Okay. But this can be generic on what the exact type of the thing is. What if you put like a block or something in position as a default argument, then when you run the code formatter, you just get like, why are you like this? Let's see. Is there a, yeah. Oh, come on. VS Code, why are you like this? You get like a little newspaper and a little nose. You get smacked on the nose. Smack. Also, where is Haley at? She said she was gonna come flirt with me. I need to go yell at her. Anyway, okay. Right, doing serious things. Self dot. Is there a reason that this isn't doing like spread of those things? Is it 3 dots? Isn't this a thing? Use dot dot to cannot use a comma. The base struct must always be the last field. Oh, that's weird. Add missing generic argument. Right. Okay. So, yeah. Aw, I made you a Twitch person! I'm not sure how I feel about that, because like Twitch is low-key kind of bad, but it's also just the place for stuff like this. No, okay, that does make sense. Okay. Yeah, so for a type A and expr on arg of expr, then you get converted to a B, but you still have type expr because this is just setting the type. Okay. So an untyped arg is going to be an untyped expr. And a typed one is going to be why do I keep putting an R there? Typed expr. There's one other place where we're having this problem. Is this another place where it should be using the alias, but it's not? It's an arg type. Yeah. So this should be a typed arg. Statement archetype. And this is another one where we should be using a typed statement. Okay. I hope your meeting's not terrible. Thank you for coming to hang out. Okay. And then this is a place where we need to be using an untyped arg. Typed arg. Wait, no, typed arg's not generic. What? An arg. Oh, now it's happy. Okay. I didn't change anything. Okay. So, that's nice, but now there have got to be places where we're constructing this archetype and then not defaulting it. Why am I trying to run Gleam build? I'm doing Rust stuff. I'm doing Rust and Gleam stuff. Haha. Okay. Ooh, formatter stuff. Yay. Format a function arg generic on. Okay. Can I just make this generic on expr as well? And hopefully that doesn't just pass the buck somewhere else. Hopefully type inference can figure that out. I'm also like low-key bugged that we refer to this A everywhere else. You also accidentally run Gleam build. Okay. Looks like there's another. Oops. That's the source. We want this. Use assignments. This seems like another great candidate for untyped arg. Do it again. Okay. This just needs to be generic on expr. Please? There we go. Okay. Okay, so these are now we're getting the errors that I was expecting, where we're missing default value on a bunch of places. Okay. So, and this is in fix. Don't you like delete fix in like every new release and then just rewrite it when there's a new thing to fix? Because I feel like I remember you doing that after like 0.27 or whenever it became let assert instead of assert. Pretty much. Okay. So what you're saying is I don't have to fix this, right? I can just like ignore this code and it's fine. Okay, so let's see. I feel like the easiest way to fix this without actually carrying is just make default value a none. Oh, and you think that would be the right fix anyway, so. Yeah. Yeah, and like it would be none because it's fixing older versions of Gleam that would not yet have optional arguments. So yeah, I guess that would actually be the right thing to do to begin with. Okay, and then let's run that again and pick a new error message. Oh shit, that was the wrong keyboard shortcut, whatever. Run it again. There we go. Okay, so cool. The parser is missing that, which will be an actual thing to do. And then there's some typing machinery that's missing that as well. But I think that will mostly just be filling stuff in from the parser. So, this is why you're not doing the spread. Okay. Well, revert that shit then. And then default value is self.default value. Oh, right, and that code is only for external functions, which like extra won't have defaults because that would be weird and complicated. Oh, and then I need to put expr back in all those spots because that was a meaningful change. Okay. Well, then let's go look at some parser stuff. Wow, this is a big function. Okay, parse function param. Parse is a single function definition param. Examples. So I guess we can, oops. add our new examples. So we might have, just like a equals 1, or we might have like a equals 1. Or we might have a equals 1. You should stream. That would be very fun. I would definitely watch you stream working on the compiler, especially because it would like it would give me more exposure to working in the compiler code base, and then I could actually help you more. Because I would really love more excuses to work on the Gleam compiler. I have tried to look at it a couple of times, but then not had like a concrete problem that I wanted to solve, so I didn't know where to dive in and what to work on. So I like that I have like an actual excuse to be in here now, and there's like an actual thing I'm trying to do and stuff I'm trying to find. Okay. Yeah, I did kind of pick like a big whopper to be the first thing. But also, like, I don't know, it'll get me up to speed quick, right? As long as I don't let it demotivate me. Because I'm touching the parser, and I'm touching the code formatter, and I'm touching code gen stuff, and so there's like a decent, and like documentation generation and stuff too. Like this is, I'm really gonna be all over, and at least semi-familiar with like a lot of the compiler code base after this. And yeah, like it's nice to have something that's actually cool and something that I will probably end up using, so that I can have that motivation. The weird ass label handling code. Yeah, and everyone's gonna get to see my weird ass optional argument handling code eventually. Where we just like magically let you insert none if you don't supply a final argument. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Okay, so now we need to figure out what the heck this code is doing. So we're matching on the first 2 tokens, and somehow out of that we get a U32 and then some names and then a U32. Are those U32s just like indexes into the string that contains the source code? They're byte indexes into the source code, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've thought about like trying to use a stage or one of like the voice chat channels or something too. But it would also low-key be nice to have followers for if I work on like other things that aren't so Gleam related. If y'all are interested in watching those, and then you can like pick, I don't know. Also, apparently my iPad is about to die, and I have definitely been using that as my thing for reading chat, so I need to go find a charger really quick. I will be right back. Luckily, this was very easy to find. Because the other day I like gathered up all of my charger bricks and all of my cords and everything, and I rubber banded ones together that I thought would be good combos. So this is like a charging brick that came with my old USB-C MacBook, like the 2017 or 2018 model or something. And then just like a USB-C to USB-C cord, because iPads charge with USB-C now. I don't know what outlet I'm gonna plug this into, because I have my desk standing right now, and this cord is hopefully long enough to reach that, but it looks like it's gonna be close. Ugh. Okay. That should be fine. Yeah, maybe we can talk about OBS shenanigans on Discord later. I think mostly, like if I make this a regular thing, then I kind of want a green screen. Just because I think that that's a nice to have. And also because you can kind of see, like, this camera doesn't do a great job with how giant this window is and how much light comes in through it. It's actually doing a lot better today than I expected. Because usually this camera just like focuses way too much on the background and makes it like nicely balanced and properly exposed. And then I just am like, it looks like I'm sitting in some like dark unlit hacker cave, even though there's like clearly a bunch of light. It is a really nice background, which is why I picked this room to be my office, because like, okay, on occasion when you just like need to take a break and chill, you can just like turn around and look at the mountain for a second, ponder the beauty of nature and how we're destroying it, and then get back to coding. Okay. Right. So we take the first 2 tokens, and then also all we get out of this is the arg names? Wait. Small string? Is this a crate or something? Small strings are the same size as regular strings. Clone is O of 1. Oh, because they're immutable. Wait, so are these fly strings? Strings are stack allocated if they are short. If they are substrings of some constant white space string, that is a bunch of new lines and a bunch of spaces. That's cute. So when it puts them on the heap, I wonder if they're fly strings or if they're just like thrown in an arc or something. I guess an arc string is basically a way of having a fly string. Interesting. Okay. So it's either a discard, a labeled discard, named, or named and labeled. I really hate that this isn't like discard labeled. But I don't want to fix that right now. Okay. I'm kind of confused though. If is a unexpected label. Okay. Oh! Okay, so this take function itself gives an option of this like tuple type that we're dealing with. With a byte index, and then a token type, and then an end index. So we might have a named argument. Okay, if we have a named argument, or if we have a label, this would be the label first. A label and then a discard. If it's anonymous, then that's bad. Why do we throw away 2 tokens right here? And then return start labeled discard. And then just a discard, a labeled name. Okay. Okay. I'm still really confused on why we're like discarding these next tokens when we pull them. Like, what is that doing? No! Luis just left and I had no question for him. Maybe I can just bug him still. Oh. Wait, so this take... Oh, wait, what? Oh. Oh, okay. So that's not like an iterator that we're advancing or something. Where's the type definition for this struct? Parser. Oh, so it just like has two peak tokens. And then this is the tokens parser. So okay. So calling token.take is just consuming the token from the option, which is fine because if it doesn't parse, then it's a parse error because we're expecting arguments. And then when we want to refill those like peak holders, we call next token. Yeah, so these two tokens are providing look ahead. Yeah. But the way that look ahead is happening here is that like you consume the things that hold the look ahead and then you have to refill them later. So like looking at the look ahead, because the look ahead is stored in an option, you like pull it out by calling take, which made me think that we were like taking the next token from an iterator. I didn't realize it was an option. That makes way more sense now. Also, what was Haley's excuse? Aw. Okay. Okay. So let's see. We're in the parser and we are parsing function parameters. Okay. So we do all of the stuff to handle labels and names, and then we have the annotation, which would be the type. And then, so what we're trying to do is parse the default value equal if I kind of don't want Copilot right now because I want to actually understand what's happening in this. If sum A equals, we probably want to add the start token is a colon. I kind of wonder if we are going to need a start token parameter here. I feel like we won't. Parse default param value. Or maybe I want this to be named like, oops, parse param default value. Sometimes picking the order of words for function names like this is weird, but I think I'm gonna go with that. And then yeah, this is gonna be fallible. We're probably going to want to do this same thing, I imagine. That we're going to set some end. And then we will get back some value. And otherwise, I kind of want to do an and then instead of this if let, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll just pass that default value through. So now the problem is just going to be that we are not defining this function name. So let's find where this one is defined. And we can just, what? I'm bad. Okay. And we are probably going to return the same sort of thing. A type AST. I would guess that this is going to be like an untyped expr for what we're doing. Type AST, untyped definition. Yeah, okay. Untyped expr. Oops. Okay. Maybe one. I'm just going to steal this body and go from that. But then we don't take a start token. We just have a token equal. Oh, I don't know how long ago Danielle left. If you're still here, bye. I hope you enjoy your food. Need the left type parameter, I guess. Oh. Right, I didn't finish typing my result type. Probably just a parse error to match that. And right, this wants a reference to a token type, which we can do. So it's maybe an equal token, and then, but instead of parse type, we probably want to parse an expression, which returns a result option untyped expression. That definitely sounds like what we want. And then, if it's an okay none, oh. Wait. Okay. So if the next token is not an equal, then we're fine. There's just no default value, which sounds correct. But if we parse an expression and we get no expression, but there was an equals. Is there like a, oops. Wow. Struggle. There we go. Parse default value. Expected expr. That sounds good. But then if it's an OK of something else, that means that we got the untyped expression that we wanted. And so we can infer it. Or we can just pass it through. I think that's enough stuff for that to parse now. I think. Maybe. Let's run it. Yeah, I think the either type in Haskell is really funny. That like your good type comes second because it's the right option, as in like haha correct, and it's the type that you put on the right. But then instead of being like wrong, it's just left. It makes me want to use the word left instead of wrong, but okay, so let's see what all is going wrong here. There's this big nasty a value of type vec arg typed expr cannot be built from an iterator over elements of type untyped expr. That sounds like it's going to be an unfun error to deal with. So let's see what else we can do instead. Arguments. What function are we in? What are we doing here? Make call. Also because of the functor instance. I am not entirely sure what you mean by that because I'm not super familiar with Haskell. But yeah, in Rust, if you're not paying attention, like it could be really easy to mix the two up. That's fair. And if it's anything about functors, it's probably hard to explain in chat. Okay. Value, capture, variable into. Okay, I have no idea what this function is doing. Make call. It takes an untyped expr that's supposed to declare a function, I guess. Where do we actually use that variable? Box new fun. Okay, call. I guess we kind of just pass it through. On a non-function using the capture syntax. Okay, I'm guessing that this is another one of those spots where it's pretty safe to just put default none. Because this code path is just creating a function from some captures and a hole. And it wouldn't really make sense for that to ever need a default because they can only ever end up with one argument, and the whole point of having that one argument is so that you can pass something to it. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. For more complex patterns, we add a function argument and also an assignment in the function body to handle the pattern. Use assignment variable. Is this use assignments from use expression? Okay, I definitely don't think that we want any sort of defaulting to do with use, and we're not even adding, like that wouldn't be able to parse anyway to get this far, so that can probably also be a none. Let's see what's next. Oh wait, weren't we just here? We were farther down. Okay, so there are two other places in this same bit that it looks like. For discards, we add a discard function argument, use assignment. Okay, so I think simple patterns of a single variable, we add a regular function argument. This is still just use stuff. I still don't think that we need anything to do with defaulting in here. Shit, I keep doing that. I have two keyboard shortcuts for like Command K clears the terminal and Command M makes it full screen, and I don't know why, but I keep hitting Command M or Command K when I mean to be hitting Command M. Okay, so there's one more place where we need to do some defaulting stuff, and then we're gonna have to go deal with something more complicated. So we're getting an untyped arg. Oh, okay, this one is actually gonna be interesting because we're doing type inference here, which means that we probably want to infer the type based off of the default that you're giving instead of waiting to infer it later. So this is going to be one where we actually do stuff. And also, I have been standing this whole time, and I'm finally kind of tired of it. So I'm going to swap down. Okay. So we are given an untyped arg, and we destructure the names and annotation and location off of it, and we return a typed arg. I think we are also going to want to take the default value off of here. So that we can put it back on later. right. Okay. So there's probably going to be some function somewhere that can take an expression, an untyped expression, and turn it into a typed expression. Annotation. What's the thing on here that we're skipping then? The location? No. What? Names, annotation, location, default value. We're just not destructuring the type off of it. Oh, because it's an untyped arg, and so the type is always going to be unit. Okay, so, and then we're taking the annotation type from AST, takes a type AST and returns an archetype. And so we either get a type from the type AST, or we return a self new unbound var, which is an archetype. Environment new unbound var. Unbound var. Interesting. If we know the expected type of the argument from its contextual usage, then unify the newly constructed type with the expected type. We do this here because there is more type information for the function being type checked, resulting in better type errors and the record field access syntax working. Unify. Where's this expected coming from? Oh. I'm really curious how this infer arg is used then. Also, wait, I think actually this, if this is being called at like the first usage of the arg to figure out what the type of the arg is, which I think is what's going on if we already have an expected type for it, then the thing that's happening here is we have an untyped arg. We have a usage that is hopefully typed, and then we're seeing if we can unify those. And then if so, we're giving ourselves back a typed arg. And so I think this might be another case where we actually want this to be none. And then there's going to be some other place where we're like traversing the untyped AST to turn it into a typed one. And at that point, we can just see if it's defaulted. We can check the value. We can check the type of the default value. And then we can fill in the param type with the type of the default. I think that's what's happening here. So we don't need that, actually. And I'm just going to say default value is none for now. With a little to-do thing of make sure that function param types are being inferred from the provided defaults. From the provided default values, even. Okay. I'm just going to kind of clean house here and close a bunch of windows because I feel like I've got too many open again. Not found in scope. Oh. I thought I put a none there. Clearly I did not. Okay, so now the only error that we're getting is this and maybe that even means that we're in the right spot because we are doing function inference, so we're taking an untyped expression and we're returning a typed definition. Cool. So we're doing stuff to the arguments. Environment.in new scope, something. We're destructuring these arguments off of here. Where are we using them? There was an external implementation. We don't care about external stuff. Infer the type using the pre-registered args and return types as a starting point. Okay. So this is gonna sort of be the place that we want to do our inference off of defaults. Okay. So arguments. This is weird. Oh wait, arguments and argtypes. Where's argtypes coming from? Pre-registered type fn types. Pre-registered type for fn was not an fn. Pre-registered type is a environment.get variable dot type. Man, there's a bunch of stuff going on here. Where is this environment coming from? So we're inferring a function within an environment. What is an environment? A module name? Oh wait, no, that's, sorry, this type. Current module unqualified import names, imported modules, imported types, module types. Yeah, this is real type checker-y. Infer function. What is the type of archetypes? It's a vec arc type. What is the type of type? A nominal named type such as blah 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 blah. Type can take other types as arguments. The type of a function. I don't know why this is called app, but although, okay. Interesting. So these archetypes are all filled in? Pre-registered type. So I think pre-registered is what like they're calling it when you have an actual type annotation in the source code. So maybe what I should be doing is yeah, terminology gets confusing when you're like in a typed programming language and you're talking about the types of another typed programming language. I think maybe the stuff that this is doing is where I should actually be. Field map. I don't think that's what I'm after. The pre-registered function is a value constructor. Oh. Oh. And a type constructor. I think it's funny to do this sort of thing to like work around what are keywords in the language that you're working in. Of just like adding the underscore to the end, or like it's being weirdly inconsistent here. These are both archetypes, and they're both doing like very similar things. But instead of type underscore, this one was tip for some reason. Value constructor. Definition location. Field map. Assert no labeled arguments. Match fun type. Generalize. Used as. Man. Yeah, okay. I know I'm like vaguely in the right area of the code base, but I'm like feeling super lost suddenly. So we are given a function and an environment. And we take the name from the function, and then that's just like already defined in the environment somehow. So this environment is doing stuff to like evaluate the type of this function, but we aren't doing anything to trigger that. So I'm like trying to figure out how I can get the types of the default arguments. Pre-registered type .fn types. Yeah, I wish I knew like where this environment was actually like evaluating stuff for the function. Okay. So I've been going for like 2 hours, and I'm feeling slightly stuck now. So I think this might be a good breaking point. But we like definitely made some progress, and I've got like a bunch of stuff loaded in my brain now that I can let stew and process and whatever for a minute. And then I can come back to this later. I'm kind of busy this weekend, but like I want to work on this more next week for sure. Yeah, I think this is good progress though. I think this is good progress. I think we're getting there. I think we're gonna have a good time. And I'll definitely let people know when I am going to work on this more again. I know a lot of people already left, but I do appreciate all of y'all coming to hang out. it definitely like it helps to have like people to talk to about like what's going on, especially when Luis was here. But also just to like have people around for the motivation. It's really nice. Yeah. Cool. I'll see y'all in Discord though.